Alright guys, good evening, welcome. Here we are again for another late night stream of mine. And as you see, we are doing U-boat again. Yeah. Generally, I am doing a complete walkthrough, a complete playthrough through the campaign of the game, where in a completely open world with a completely open world map you can navigate through the whole World War II. We have started in September 39, just before the raid on Poland, and right now we are in February 43, so we are more than 3 years into the war, and it's pretty fascinating how the game actually changes dynamically, adapting to the changing realities of the available equipment, of the abilities of the war waging parties. So, great to have you in. Right now we are doing the Arctic missions. So our job is to interfere with convoys moving towards the Soviet Union, intercepting them to prevent supplies from the other allies reaching the Soviets. And by now I am sailing with the Type 7C, but that was not always the case. In the beginning of the game I started with the Type 2, tiny, low range, low top speed, few torpedoes, small submarine in Wilhelmshaven, and the first missions led us to the North Sea, then to the nearer, closer parts of the Eastern Atlantic. Sooner or later I was able to transfer to La Rochelle, which opened me allowed me to dive deeper into the Atlantic to the west. And that was the time when I had earned enough merit so that headquarters supplied me with a Type 7. And then we did missions in the middle of the Atlantic, and finally we got access to the so-called milk cows, which is large and bulky supply submarines which we have placed here, so that after having crossed the Atlantic we were able to refuel, and only by this trick we were able to reach the Western Atlantic, American shores, and wreak havoc there. So we also fulfilled the Operation Drumbeat, where we finally sank more than 200,000 tons. We fulfilled that attack on Aruba, where we destroyed oil tanks on the shore with our deck gun. And after these trips to the other side of the Atlantic, I decided to go back, relocated my home port to Bergen in Norway, and now I'm doing this mission set here, already having reached the first level by having sunk 50,000 tons. Now I have to sink another 50,000 tons and to reach the next level. That's where I am right now. So this ongoing mission was pretty busy. We nicely intercepted, I think it was a by-the-book interception. This convoy here infiltrated it, sank. We only managed to sink one merchantman, but better than nothing. And in the chase afterwards of their escorts on us, we sank, I think, 3 or 4 escort ships. And yeah, now we are totally blank of torpedoes, and on the way back we got another special order, which was to locate another German submarine which got lost in this area here. AF767. Yeah, that's where we are. So now let's take a look and see if we find the guy. This is a bit of a, yeah, well, I used to say that this is a bit of a work of patience. There is a lot of that in the game, so we have a lot of immersion and a lot of feeling of realism in this game, but yeah, we have to pay it with, yeah, there are, well, let me put it positively, it's not an arcade game, it's not quick action. And let's now see, we have something like 2 days left to find that submarine. So now let's utilize daylight. Maybe we should go flank speed to cover. Oh, nice. We got them. Let's get there. Yeah, that's the missing submarine. There it is. There it is. So let's give it another save. I used to do a new save at least each time I start a new stream. So let's call it W2A2. Here we are. Better safe than sorry. So I'm not playing hardcore. 1 life only, something. I really try to reduce reloads, so I really only reload when real bad things happen, when shit hits the fan. Like when the boat gets lost or most of the crew dies. But if I launch an attack, fire 4 torpedoes, and they all go amiss, this is usually not the situation when I reload, but then I take it as part of reality and immersion that things also go wrong. And yeah, I even had quite a few severe losses among the crew, even among the officers, and still decided to carry on playing without reloading. There we are.
Alle Maschinen stopp.
Okay, there is no one on the conning tower. Yeah, we had such events before, and yeah, we haven't run into any other German submarines lately, but particularly in the first 2 years of the war, you continuously run into other submarines, and they are operating independently. You can't really give them orders, but yeah, I even observed that other submarines independently were torpedoing merchantmen in the convoy that I was attacking, and even once I had one target and I was just about to fire on it when it was obviously being hit by torpedoes from another submarine, and this adds so much to the immersion and the world really feeling alive. Now, give it one more save. Okay, the worst thing that could happen would be that there would be an air raid while we do this kind of maneuver, because now, next, we are gonna send an away team to investigate. U-84 is floating on the surface without a living soul on its deck. Yeah. Looks like the boat sustained severe damage. It remains a mystery though what happened to the crew. So let's get there and send guys. Okay, the captain's too tired. I used to send the first engineer, and let's send our first mechanic as well. And I used to send the bosun as well, which is Mr. Schultz. There we go. And 6 crew hands to give them support. So now in this representation we should even see the Zodiac. Yep, there. Passing the stretch of water between us and them. And here we are. Your team cautiously boarded U-84, reporting that they cannot hear any sound from the inside of the ship. Investigate further, please. Which takes a little while. So here we have the status bars. Of the progress of that action. Siegfried Ahlers went to the conning tower and carefully opened the closed hatch, and then quickly ran to the barriers on the conning tower, clearly choking. He reported that inside are the corpses of sailors with dried blood flowing out of their eyes and lips. Siegfried Ahlers has no doubt the boat was damaged by a mine, which led to flooding of the batteries of the boat, which in turn released chlorine gas and resulted in the death of the entire crew. Scuttle the boat without using explosives. Yeah, I do have a ship engineer ability. Oh. Does this mean that there is an airplane coming in? That's bad. That's very bad. When the crew is still on the transit. 270, that would be over there. So, Mr. Schultz, please man the...
Alarm! Flugzeug im Anflug. Peilung 270 Grad. Denkt an eure Ausbildung. Bleibt ruhig und konzentriert.
Okay, now Mr. Schultz has manned the flag. Where are they? They must be coming in from somewhere over there. Okay, the guys are already at the flag. Don't see the plane. Okay, we got it. Luckily it was just one. Let's check the reg. Hey, Wolvolo. Beautiful to have you back in. Long time no see. And not wet, just cold. Great that you are in as well. Hi, guys. Good evening. How are you doing? Oh, another one? Oh, that's unusual. Two of them. Are there more? And another one ditched. I'm a bit surprised. Okay, it's two of them. Having more would be very unusual, but you never know. Things change over time. Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. So, as you see, we are diving into the Arctic Convoys missions, and yeah, that's where we are, having done 50,000 tons, and now we are going for the next milestone, 100,000 tons. Yeah, and all the rest is fine as well. Job is alright, no unpleasant surprises at the moment. The family is well, so yeah, everything fine. No. Let's see. Oops. Okay, that's a bit... Oh, come on. Please don't give me that bug. Oh, no. Okay, nah, it's... it's just... That was... Alright, no problem. Oh shit, no. The camera is kind of locked. The camera of the binoculars. Ah, there we are, okay. Alright, so was a very, yeah, easy to repair bug. But we get eyes on the shot down planes. Oh, okay, alright. There is one. And where is the other guy?
Kurs setzen. Alle Maschinen, stopp.
There should be 2 airplanes floating. Two survivors. Rescue and take them on board. 1, 2. Confirm.
Funkraum besetzen.
So I think we can release the guy, our bosun, from the flag. Okay, but the other airplane is not to be seen. Yeah, okay, of course, it's always possible that it sinks right away. No debris, no nothing. Obviously not. Okay.
Funktelegramm gesendet.
Now. Yeah, we fired a lot of torpedoes actually. That was 2 streams ago. We infiltrated this convoy successfully, sank 1 of their merchantmen, and in the subsequent chase we managed to sink, I think, 4 destroyers or corvettes. I mean, let me say 4 escorts, 1 or 2 corvettes, 1 or 2 destroyers, and yeah, of course, in terms of our overall mission goal, that was a bit of a waste of torpedoes, but I had so beautiful opportunities to sink them. I just couldn't resist.
Halbe Fahrt, voraus.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
But yeah, the result actually is that at the moment we are completely out of torpedoes. No 4 torpedoes and no stern torpedoes as well. I mean, was the submarine sunk now, finally?
Diese Koordinaten setzen. Alle Maschinen, stopp.
Target is sinking. Yeah, let's just stay here and make sure that we get this as a result. Ah, there it is. It is sinking, but that's the airplane. And where is the other submarine? I think it has already sunk. We just don't get the result, or do we? Okay, I think the mission is fulfilled. So, let's get back home.
Koordinaten setzen. Halbe Fahrt voraus.
Yeah, I'm missing something like 3,000 tons to have reached the mission goal, but yeah, that's how it is. Question is, so I would wonder what you guys in the stream would think about that. If we would go back to Bergen and not finish the patrol, but reloading torpedoes and getting back to the patrol area and try to finish it. Try to finish it in terms of tonnage. Well, what we can do right now is do a hydrophone check.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter.
It's snowing by now. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And a bit of snow is falling. Well, it's mid-February. Perfectly ordinary around here at that time of the year. Yeah, okay. The bilge is fine. Ballast tanks flooded, so we should be going down any minute. There we go. Yeah, the stores are still alright, completely uncritical, and the discipline on board is perfectly fine as well. Yeah, hi guys, I just saw the number of watches flipping up by 1, so welcome. Don't feel observed, I just see the number going up. I don't see who you are, no nothing. So don't feel under pressure. You could just silently lurk. But of course, as I used to say, you could make a little streamer like me a little bit more happy if you would participate in the chat and give us a hi, or tell us what your relation to the game is. Are you a long-term experience or just trying to learn the ropes? What do you think about this stream? Yeah, just anything. Or even give me a follow, but don't feel pushed. Just lurk if you like to.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
No, the hydrophone. Yeah, there is a thunderstorm now going on up there on the surface, and this severely reduces the hydrophone range, because that noise on the surface actually kind of gives a lot of disturbances to our listening down here. And so we only get something like a radius of 50 miles, while with our upgraded high-end hydrophone that we have, we can actually go up to a radius of 90 miles. Hey, German North, nice to have you in. Good evening, how are you doing? Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, nice to see a few old acquaintances dropping into the stream again. Great to have you in. Yeah, no, the usual thing. We stay down here for 5 minutes, listening silently, and then the crew will bring the boat back up to the surface. That's one standard workflow, so you don't have to micromanage the hydrophone check. Yeah, but all the operations are realistically simulated anyway, so every step is actually carried out. even though you don't have to order each step, particularly because the crew knows what to do if you order hydrophone check.
Meine Schwester mag keine Petersilie. Jedes Mal, wenn unsere Mutter Suppe mit Petersilie macht, zieht sie komische Grimassen. Es ist lustig anzusehen, aber es lässt mich auch mein Zuhause vermissen.
Okay, very interesting. One of the crewmates just told us that his sister doesn't like parsley. And that she always made a face when she was served with some parsley in the food. Yeah, well, yeah, they could give that a bit more variety, but I'm sure that there are probably mods which might give these kind of atmospheric crew communications a bit more variety. Okay, the captain has turned in. Yeah, he is pretty tired, but that's perfectly fine. And now Mr. Arlos is officer of the watch, and Mr. Strauss caring for the hydrophone. So all is well. Yeah, look at the pots. Looks like they're always having Eintopf stew. I pretty much like these details. Yeah, the off-watch.
Nachgedacht, was du tun wirst, wenn der Krieg vorbei ist? Anblasen.
That was it.
Herr Kaloin?
Back to the surface, no contacts found. Yeah, let's see what the weather is like now up there. It's a wind speed of 18 knots, and yeah, you see it. It's a thunderstorm going on.
35 Meter.
Yeah, even 19 knots by now. So, although it's just after lunchtime, just after noon, it's pretty dark up there. There we go, snow.
Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
Herr Kaloin, wir sind aufgetaucht.
Yeah, let's carry on. Okay, why do I have reduced? That's amazing. Why do I have only reduced speed acceleration, time acceleration available? That usually does mean that either you have shallow waters or the shores are close or enemies are close, which actually is not the case, I think. Okay, nobody at the conning tower. Pretty low vision range. Yeah, this thing with the watches is still not running completely smooth, because now and then I don't have sufficient people on the conning tower. Here, like that. Why is this? Why is nobody doing duty on the conning tower? Observation, priority 9. And I should have sufficient people. Yeah, maybe we can check that once more when we are back home in port. But usually when you have these kind of problems, some kind of weird effects like certain jobs not being carried out although you have enough people in the watch group, it means that there is something wrong with with addressing the people, sorting them towards the watch groups, but it looks everything all right. Hey, weight loss, nice to have you in. I was just saying that it's beautiful, so lots of good old well-known faces in the stream. How are you doing? Yes, yeah. Yeah, you know what the funny thing about it is? They rescheduled it for the 17th of April. And so they're making it my birthday present. Yes, exactly. That was great news about the safe game compatibility. Yeah, we had been discussing this again and again. And that's really great. That's really great. And for that, yeah. I would accept to wait 2 more months for that. Yeah, well, maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe you're right. So, by the way, since the last few runs, I have this weird problem that I don't know. Maybe one of you has an idea what the reason could be. So I get this here whenever there is not one of my 2 officers doing watch on the conning tower. The crew doesn't it. I have the watch group, and there is sufficient people in the watch group, but still they just don't man the conning tower. And I have no idea why that is. Oh, German North, you had problems with your GPU. Ah, too bad. So, I mean, that's probably pretty, means you need a new graphics card probably, right? Okay, that's interesting. If you can actually name it like that, maybe you could replace the cable. I mean, this is one of the rough stuff where you maybe even could fix it. But the other question is, why did it burn? So might still be that it was just a symptom and not the root cause. Yeah, but worth a try. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, so there is a fair chance that you might actually repair it with, yeah, with DIY means. Ah, beautiful. Yeah, the last streams I did were not that well visited, and yeah, I had this technical problems again last weekend. On Friday, my stream just stopped. I was doing the double stream to Twitch and YouTube, and at the moment I don't do it anymore. I think it's something about the routing. So Streamlabs actually uses some kind of different routing of the data. And so my suspicion is that these servers are not so stable. And when I do just the single streaming towards Twitch, then the routing of the data seems to be more straightforward, maybe more stable service. And yeah, let me keep fingers crossed. Looks like that it works fine now, but I'm not streaming anymore on YouTube at the moment. But yeah, anyway, my love is with you guys on the Twitch channel. Yeah, I was just thinking about doing the YouTube streaming en passant. But in principle, yeah, the guys on YouTube are not that talkative. Although at the moment, I miss this guy from Scotland. It's a pity that we don't have his comments in.
Herr Kaloin, wir sind aufgetaucht.
Ah, okay, yes, yeah, German North. That's good. Always good to have an explanation. So it sounds pretty, how would you say? Pretty consistent, what you say, yeah. Wow. So we do have a bit of a wave going. Quite a swell, I would say. Yeah, beautiful. Look at that. Yeah, but imagine how badly you are shaken inside the submarine in such a weather. So now there was the change of watch, and still we have nobody at the conning tower. You don't have to do any soldering. So is it like, is there plugs? Yeah, that would be comfortable. I would always feel uncomfortable starting to solder within the computer. Yes. Yes. Okay, well, now that we are around, let's at least finish this miles that we should travel within the area.
Bestätige. Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Jawohl, Herr Kaloi.
And let's do another hydrophone check,
50 Meter.
just to be sure that we don't miss anything. Yeah, the sun has set. Mr. Arles has just opened the valves. Mr. Otto, Mr. Vogel manning the depth steers, the crew having run to the front compartment to give diving ballast, and the ballast tanks are being flooded. Fore ballast tank and stern or aft ballast tank.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter.
E-Motorenwechsel.
And down we go.
Meter. Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloi?
Again, let's see if we hear something. Range has improved. We still have, okay, the thunderstorm up there has stopped and the wind speed has gone down to 8 knots, so we will have a much larger range by now. 90 miles, yes.
50 Meter.
Mr. Schulz is my officer of the watch at the moment with the crew. Yeah, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people on the watch. So at the moment everything is perfectly fine. So all the stations are manned. Cleaning station, galley, depth steers, 2 of them. And then 2 guys at the electric engines. So this works perfectly fine. Yeah, when I get back to the surface, we will see that when there is no officer at the conning tower,
50 Meter.
because the officer of the watch is at the engines, then the crew is not automatically manning the conning tower, although there is sufficient people there. Yes, I just dived, yep. Doing a hydrophone check. Yeah, good point. And this is the crew priorities. So here, observation, I did put it to 9. So any idea if I could put it in a different way? Helmsman station is important. Observation, engines. Yeah, it's not quite logical to put the depth steers priority to less, but and for the squads, I have these 3 squads, and 2 squads with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1 squad with 6 sailors. And I have that problem with not with the conning tower not being manned. I have it independently whether I am going with the 6 or the 7 guys squad. In the past, I was perfectly happy with this it should, in principle, it should be enough, and in the past it worked. It's just since something like 3 missions or something that I have that problem. Yeah, I'll show you again when we are back to the surface. In the past, when I had some of these weird effects, it usually was due to the fact that, like for example, when one sailor dies and you still have it in this schedule here, then weird things are going to start to happen. But I actually rescheduled it 3 times, and I'm pretty sure that each sailor I have here in the list is actually existing on board. Yes, you have 2 on engines, 2 on the conning tower, 1 in the kitchen, 1 in on the helm, 1 cleaning. Yeah, right. Should be fine, yeah. It really feels buggy, but yeah. My gut feeling tells me that it is something about the prioritization here. Maybe in the past I had a different prioritization. I don't know, maybe I changed something here. I remember that I started to meddle around a bit with this. Yeah, but when you have additional crew hands helping, for example, at the radar, they are not taken from the watch, but they are taken from the off watch. Also for navigation, when you put 2 additional guys to navigation, like here, these 2 guys, that's the guys that we have down there. So Mr. Sommer, Mr. Forstmann, Mr. Koss. There are 2 of them helping at the navigation and 1 at the hydrophone, and they are not from the watch but from the off watch, which is also a nice feature where you see that the programmers really put some serious thought into this. That pretty much makes sense to have it like that. So, no contact. Let's carry on. Let me show. Here, now we have it. Missing workers on the conning tower. And now the captain is at the conning tower, but if I force the captain to do something else, like, for example, play cards, now there should be 2 guys going to the conning tower. Okay, now it gets a little bit... Yeah, now I don't have enough guys because I don't have an officer at the diesel, so 2 guys from the watch do have to care for the diesel. So that is what we see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys we need. And there is no 2 more guys for the conning tower. This is probably the point. Now we could do 1 check. What Yeah, let's first have Mr. Arlos turning off. Turning off the air compressor and then make a little experiment. Yes, exactly. That's the point. That's the strange thing. They're manning the galley. And the cleaning station, although they should be manning the observation, the conning tower. That's exactly the point. Yeah, you're right. Yes, yeah, maybe you're right. Let's check that. Good point. Good point. So let's do it like that. Let's first try that. What you said, put it like that. Get out. Wait a little while. And put it to 8 or to 9 again. Sometimes I had this gut feeling that if you change something, it only gets into action after the next change of watch. But let's try that anyway. Let's just try what happens if I put them to priority 1. Doesn't make any difference for now. Good point, good point. Let's do that. Sound the alarm once.
Alarm! Auf Gefechtsstation!
Auf Gefechtsstationen! Anlauf Beginn!
All right.
Beenden.
No, again.
Position besetzen.
Make sure that we don't have any officers on the conning tower, and let's see what they're gonna do. They would have to man the conning tower now. And they don't. They don't man the conning tower. Yes, yeah, that's the point. That's so weird. Oh shit, didn't work. No. do I get rid of that shift? Fuck. How do I get rid of... okay, like that. Sure, yes. Let's see what happens if I reduce this. Yeah, maybe I should have dive planes. Yeah, something like that. And let's try once more sounding the alarm to give it a reset.
Dafür haben wir trainiert. Wir werden das gemeinsam durchstehen.
Yeah, great.
Alarm beenden.
Yeah, that's so weird. I think I'm gonna put it back to the old settings as far as I remember. Because in the past they were doing fine. Okay, there is this one thing. If we get them all out and schedule them once more. All of them, Mr. Ertl, Mr. Reitenbach, Mr. Otto, Mr. Luther, and Mr. Schwartz. And Mr. Seifert. Now, next group, Mr. Strauss, Mr. Hornickel, Mr. Hermig, Mr. Bucher, Mr. Sommer, Mr. Sparfeld. And Mr. Rossmann. And now, last but not least, Mr. Weber, Mr. Vogel, Mr. Lawrence, Mr. Forstman, Mr. Keller, and Mr. Cross. Yeah, but I think this is just the arrangement that I had before. But, well, let's see. Yep. Yeah, right. That's a good point. I'm gonna try that. Yep. Okay, guys. Now a little bit of a deep dive into the settings.
Navigation besetzen.
So when I have one of the officers on the conning tower, it's of course no problem.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum. Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
So, shall we do another hydrophone check? Let's do it.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter.
Okay, it's midnight. We have a moon. I think we have. Yeah, beautiful, isn't it? How the boat sneakily passes through the moonlit waves. And vanishes into the darkness.
5 Meter. Auf E-Motoren wechseln.
Into the darkness and into the unfathomable depths. Yeah, yeah. You see, I pretty much love the atmosphere of the game.
Herr Kapitän?
40 Meter. Aktuelle Tiefe 50 Meter. ...45 Meter. ...50 Meter.
Yeah, it would be nice if we would run into one unarmed single merchant. That would be my only chance. Our only chance to still score a hit and get these 3,000 of tons which are still missing
45 Meter.
for the optional mission target.
Kurs setzen.
Now 5 minutes of silent listening.
Anblasen. 5 Meter. Auf Dieselmotoren
And
wechseln.
back to the surface.
Aufgetaucht.
By the way, maybe I should turn on the pumps once.
Lenzpumpe einschalten.
Food is still alright. Let's go.
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloi.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Natürlich, Herr Kaloi. Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Another hydrophone check. Come on.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter.
And when we don't hear anything now, we are gonna head back home. And at least we will have reached the primary mission target, which is traveling 1300 miles within the designated area. Yeah, there we already have the first hint of daylight. Yeah, well, it's 6 o'clock in the morning.
Ja? 25 Meter.
Yeah, wind speed of 9 knots, that's moderate. The weather is alright. So we will have the full hydrophone range of 90 miles radius. Yeah, weight loss, this is a good point.
40
To
Meter.
import to once release the whole crew and get it back on. Yep, gonna try that. By the way, what would you do? Hey, Aquicing. Nice to have you in.
Aktuelle Tiefe 50 Meter.
Yeah, we have a nice little team up of old acquaintances in the stream. So weight loss is with us again. And German North. And not wet, just cold. And Vulvulu.
45 Meter.
All old salts in the game. And so Aquicing is joining us. Great. How are you doing?
Meter.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. So what's what's the weather over there with you?
Tiefe 45 Meter.
I mean, at least in the news they said that in the US there was quite hard snowstorms and temperatures down to minus 40 degrees or something. Is it affecting you as well? Yeah, minus 22, that's cold, yep. During the day, yeah. Yeah, I'd been living for 5 years in southern Germany, close to the Alps, and yeah, the winters used to be there much colder than around where I live now, and where I actually come from originally. It's also much warmer. But even down there in southern Germany, in Bavaria, something like minus 20 degrees is pretty cold. And I remember we only had it once. And I remember that the diesel mixture that we got. So in the winter down there, you get some extra cold resistant diesel at the gas stations, but even this one was not sufficiently mixed for having something like minus 20 degrees. So there was one morning when in the whole area all the diesel cars didn't start. Including ours. But I think it's no issue around where you live, right? I mean, probably it's standard to have this kind of special additive in the diesel. Or would you just don't drive cars with a diesel engine, just with the Otto engine? Here we are. Yeah, there we are, back to the diesel, talking of beautiful, the first light coming up before the sun actually is above the horizon. And now, let's get back home.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
By not forgetting to do a little save now and then.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Hey, look at that. So at the moment, no officers on the bridge. No, I just don't get the message. But also now there is no crew hand doing the observation job on the conning tower. So I think any minute I probably will get the message. Nice, let's just have a look at sunrise. Yeah, we have changed course, so now we are sailing straight into the rising sun. Yeah, nice.
Eine weitere Unternehmung erfolgreich abgeschlossen.
Yeah.
Machen wir weiter so.
Okay. Let's radio that to the headquarters that we have finished the patrol.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum. Funktelegramm gesendet. Herr Kapitän?
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Wird erledigt, Herr Convoy. Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
Yeah, now we get the message missing conning tower, but I think it was missing all the time. And we have fog abroad. Middle of the night and fog, and me playing on Yeah, almost 100% difficulty level with dark nights, so you don't see anything much. So, in a night with fog, an attack would actually make no sense, I would say, because you could easily sneak into a convoy, but you just wouldn't be able to spot your targets, and the problem is that you spot an approaching destroyer just too late to react. So fog is not always good. Yeah, good point about fog always is, of course, that it prevents airplanes from being abroad. Midnight. 2 o'clock change of watch.
Benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
And on we go.
Funkmesssignale geortet.
Oh no.
85 Grad.
I'm gonna give this an extra save because this might be one of these large air raids that you get close to ports W284. I think I'm gonna dive. If it's a large-scale air raid on the port, you stand no chance.
Äußerste Kraft auf maximal sichere Tiefe gehen.
Denkt an eure Ausbildung. Bleibt ruhig und konzentriert.
Radar signals 85 degrees. That would be from there, right? So let's change course like that. Want to get down as soon as possible.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter.
Motorenwechsel.
25 Meter.
Auf Seerohrtiefe. Tauchen auf 20 Meter.
Meter. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Alles klar. Ich werde mich darum kümmern.
Aircraft nearby, okay.
40 Meter. Wasserbomben. Sehr nah.
Oh.
Tauchen auf 100 Meter.
So they spotted us. They did spot us. Oh, fuck.
Aktuelle Tiefe
In the
20
darkness.
Meter.
In the darkness. That was a hard hit.
Folgen Sie mir. Verstanden, Herr Kommandant. Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
Alle Luken schließen.
Changing course, yeah.
Halbe Fahrt voraus.
We are taking water. How bad is it actually? Nah, okay, it could be worse. So this is a large leak, but it could be worse. This one is not too bad. Any more leaks? How many leaks? We just have 2 leaks at the moment.
Aktuelle Tiefe 15 Meter.
Mr. Schneider.
Meter.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
And what about the injured?
25 Meter. Jawohl.
Mr. Strauss, where are you? Okay, 1 sailor is stabilized. Still 1 being injured. Mr. Vogel, who is gonna care for Mr. Vogel?
30 Meter. Ja. Meter.
Okay, looks like Mr. Vogel is stabilized as well.
50 Meter.
They're working on it. Maybe I shouldn't go deeper.
50 Meter. Tauchen auf. 50 Meter.
How could they actually extrapolate our position so well? Yeah, they must have spotted us via radar, so I guess they do have airborne radar, and
55 Meter.
it's more and more water getting in.
Hüllenbruch im Offiziersraum repariert.
Very good. And this one.
70 Meter.
Wassereinbruch im Bugtorpedoraum gestoppt.
Alright. So guys, there is more to repair.
Meter. Aktuelle Tiefe 70 Meter.
Dieselkompressor einschalten. Elektrokompressor einschalten.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloin? Ja, Herr Kaloin.
Okay, so that was a big hit that we got there, but looks like
Aktuelle Tiefe 65 Meter.
oh, Mr. Bucher was
55
aware that he was. Okay, more depth charges, but further away. Okay, we have the light again. And we have a bit of water in. $600. How much is it at here? Just 12. So it's only the bow torpedo room, which got quite some water. Yeah.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Okay, still repairs going on. What is he doing?
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloin?
Herr Kapitän.
Yeah, he's repairing the bulk. Okay, the bulkhead was still operating, but yeah, got some damages. He's repairing it. All right. Getting the water out. So we should have quite a bit of water in the bilge by now, which means it makes good sense to turn on the pump. And yeah, we are only at 50 meters, so the outside pressure is still moderate, so the pump should give us quite a bit of a decent rate. It's only decreased by 26%, so it's still something like 75% of efficiency, which is all right.
Schott instand gesetzt.
Right. German off.
Aktuelle Tiefe 50 Meter.
Okay. We still have a bit of water in there.
Meter. Ja?
Herr Kaloin.
Herr Kaloin?
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloin?
Herr Kaloin? Ja? Herr Kaloin? Aktuelle Tiefe 50 Meter.
Yeah, this is something which always feels a bit weird and not 100% working. Here, this getting water out. Now I click this, but I still don't have the... Yeah, it doesn't happen. Okay, yeah, it does happen. Although you don't see actually who is doing it. Wow, okay, that was close. Good job, guys. Good job. You can step away. Step away from battle stations. So let's finally get the last droplets of water out of the boat and everything is fine again. What about the outside systems? Yeah, interesting. They stayed undamaged. Well, okay, so it's just crew hands actually doing that. Carrying the water. What about... Okay, so boat torpedo room dry again. Very good job, guys.
Kapitän?
So let's have a little trip. And
Es ist nicht mehr erforderlich,
yeah,
die Schotten geschlossen zu
open
halten.
the bulkheads for now. Alright guys, that was close. So that was almost a direct hit of one of the depth of the airplane's depth charges. So good job. Everybody kept his nerves and yeah, you quickly were able to repair the damages. Very good crew. Pump is still running. Yeah, that's the petty officer's berth, galley, and the diesels, which are quiet now that we are underwater. Electric engines giving us the propulsion at the moment. Yeah, and pretty important. Electric compressor. No, diesel compressor and electric compressor. Good job done. Okay, after that little trip, maybe we could try to successively get back to the surface. But let's do it carefully, step by step. Let's go to 20 meters.
20 Meter.
Aktuelle Tiefe 45 Meter. Meter. Aktuelle Tiefe 20 Meter.
yeah, guys, that's pretty nice. I was just checking the stats of the stream in parallel. And yeah, I mean, I'm just a small streamer. If I have an average of 8 people watching, that's very satisfying. Well, and it's most of you guys are, well, from Germany and from the US, and then a few from Canada, United Kingdom, Tunisia, yeah, Slovakia. Great to have you in, guys. Always like to have a little look at these stats now and then. But let's get back to the game. And let's get back to the surface.
Tauchen auf 10 Meter.
Okay, maybe I would like to have one of the technical officers have an eye on improved depth keeping, so that we don't broach the surface, accidentally poke the conning tower through the water line. You never know how many airplanes are still cruising up there.
10 Meter.
But my gut feeling tells me that it was more like one single airport plane or two, and not one of these enormously large squads raiding the port towns. So let's give it a save. We made it through that challenge. Just naturally, without any reloading or something. Here we are, and still alive. Maybe I would like to use the observation periscope. Yeah, we are too deep. Too deep to see anything. So let's go for 8 meters. Yeah, this really makes a difference, and that's so wonderful. I remember that in the early submarine simulations it was so static, so you said periscope depth, and periscope depth was periscope depth. And here you could just continuously order the boat into just any depth. Yeah, beautiful. The moon partly hidden behind a nice little cumulus cloud. If it is one. So at the moment, looks like everything's clear, isn't it?
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Bestätige.
Tauchen auf 5 Meter.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter.
Anblasen.
Nah, I didn't want to. Okay, interesting. So when you that's a bit of a bug.
Funkmesssignale geortet. Peilung 335 Grad.
Keine Panik. Konzentriert euch auf eure Aufgaben.
335. Oh, shit.
Äußerste Kraft voraus. Auf maximal sichere Tiefe gehen.
Los geht's, Männer! Lasst uns einige Schiffe versenken!
Must be somewhere over there. Okay, at least this is what we can do fast. So maybe we didn't waste
Eine Tiefe?
too much compressed air.
Meter.
Don't see anything. And 50 meters is perfectly fine.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter. Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Okay, let's see what's the compressed air about. Ah, nice. So that means I was fast enough. I gave the order to blow the tanks, but then quick enough I let that order belay. And so we didn't waste any compressed air, and that was why we were so fast in getting down again, because we didn't even start to blow the tanks. By the way, what's the depth of the sea around here? 400 to 500 meters.
70 Meter.
So if we would sink to the seabed here, it would still kill us.
Kurs setzen.
But of course it's getting more and more nah, that's slow, I think. The continental shelf is pretty steep around here.
55 Meter.
So you see it still stays a while at 400 meters, and only somewhere pretty close to here becomes more shallow. Yeah, very realistic.
50 Meter.
Yeah, silent run doesn't make any sense because the airplane doesn't have any acoustic interface with the water. This is like, if you remember, have you ever played something like Cold Waters? Where, like in the Cold War, they started to have helicopters who dropped microphones into the water to detect submarines. Yeah, aqua-icing, so nothing new since our last status. So we are at almost 60,000 tons. And yeah, we actually only managed to sink one of the merchantments of that convoy, but we did sink something like 4, I guess, something like 4 escorts, which, yeah, actually tactically or strategically spoken, that was a waste of torpedoes, but yeah, still nice. And they were there like sitting ducks, and so I couldn't resist sinking them. But yeah, in total it was quite some eventful patrol, and so now let's keep fingers crossed that we get back home. How about you? I don't quite remember. Did you actually finish the Arctic mission set? Not quite sure what you said in the last stream. Once I understood that you were thinking about maybe giving it a break. Yeah, okay. Yep.
Schneller, schneller!
Yeah, guys, you can step away from
Alarm beendet.
battle station. And you can stop any direct order.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, Herr Kanone.
Yeah, the plane seems to be still cruising up there. So we need a little bit more patience until we get back to the surface.
Tauchen auf 30 Meter.
Aktuelle Tiefe 30 Meter.
Tauchen auf 20 Meter.
Meter.
Tauchen auf 10 Meter.
Yeah, it's still nighttime up there. Yeah, it shows that we have,
Ich benötige hier etwas
oh
Unterstützung.
no, that we have a bit of water in the bilge. But just the ordinary.
10 Meter. Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Okay, you're gonna get this one to your inventory. Yeah, he used one of the medkits. What about you?
Herr Kapitän? Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kanone?
Okay, Mr. Schneider needs another repair kit.
Jawohl, Herr Kanone.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kanone?
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kanone?
Herr Kapitän?
Okay, he's gonna salvage. Very good. Mr. Arlas, also get your spare repair kit equipped.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kanone?
Same for Mr. Grada. So it took us quite a few repair kits actually
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
to get that under control.
Ja?
Ja,
Alright, here we are. Yeah, it's this little workshop that we have there in the stern where able technical officers can turn scrap salvaged parts into a new repair kit. There we are. Yeah, you need 2 scrap metals to create 1 repair kit, so at the moment we can't do anything with that single scrap metal stuff there. So shall we give it a save once more and try once more to get back to the surface? Surface the ship.
Vorfluten.
So please go deck awash.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter.
Funkraum besetzen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Let's report that sighting of an airplane.
Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
Funktelegramm gesendet. Herr Kaloy, wir sind aufgetaucht.
And looks like there is no airplane abroad anymore. Let's hope for the best. And the question is, when do we want to blow the remaining tanks? The fore and the aft tank are still flooded, but these center tanks are empty. That's the fuel tank. That's the ballast tank. Yeah, see, it's empty. Ballast tank number 3. Just don't know where fuel tank number 4 ballast tank. The other ballast tank is probably on the other side and we can't access it from here. Now let's blow. Let's finally blow the tanks. So Mr. Schultz in this case is gonna turn the valves so that now our compressed air is gonna be pushed into the ballast tanks to finally give us enough buoyancy to stay afloat. So here you can actually see the compressed air pressure going down. But getting up already again because both compressors, the diesel and the electric compressor, are running to get back to full compressed air as soon as possible. That has maximum priority because, yeah, you never know when you might do the next crash dive. Yeah, now let's see that we safely get back home.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Bestätigt. Herr Kaloy, wir befinden uns in flachen Gewässern.
We are in shallow waters, of course. We are.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Bestätige.
Yeah, day is coming. 7 o'clock. Beautiful, isn't it? Isn't that beautiful, sailing into the sunrise?
Herr Kaloy, wir befinden uns in flachen Gewässern.
Yeah, the snowy Schären, these islands in front of the Norwegian coast. +7. And the sun is just rising above these hills. How nice. What a nice moment. And that's the submarine pens of Bergen. Always beautiful to enter the port in the morning. Yeah, let's reduce speed. So we did not fulfill the optional target. I think we can live with that.
Kurs setzen.
So here we are.
Bestätige.
So now, before we actually check the results of the mission, give me 1 minute and I will get me a glass of wine. back again. Yeah, great that you're still there. So now we can jointly check the results of the mission. But let me first get a sip of wine. So cheers, guys. To a successful mission. Let's see. Mr. Strauss, okay. He saved the life of Otto Bucher. Yeah, Mr. Strauss, he's our second radio man, and he's actually relatively new in the crew, so he still has potential to level up. I think he's only level 2 or level 3. So I took something like 2 or 3 missions ago, I took 2 of my old salt officers and sent them ashore and replaced them by newbies to actually give them experience as well, so that later in the war I might have spare officers who already have a bit of experience. So Iron Cross 2, he's on the way. Mr. Schneider repaired a critical leak in the bow torpedo room. Very good. Mr. Grade, our chief engineer, repaired a critical leak in the battery room. Mr. Schulz, our bosun, contributed in sinking of the destroyer, and he shot down the Beaufort and the Vickers fighters. All right. Very good. And the captain, well, torpedo course at Electra destroyer, sinking the Electra, so 1 destroyer sunk. Then for the freighter and sinking it. Then the Isle class corvette and sinking it. Hunt class destroyer and sinking it, and the DD destroyer and sinking it. And yeah, alright, so that means in this mission we have sunk 1 merchantman and 4 destroyers. And it brings us to almost 60,000 tons by now within the campaign of Arctic Convoys. Nice. Yeah, we just didn't fulfill the optional target. So I'm not quite sure what that means for the mission rewards. Crew experience is increased, crew specialization point gained, so very good. Yeah, isn't it? That was alright. Nice. And Mr. Strauss, he can level up. So let's take a look. He's now level 4. And which skill or skills would I like to give him? So my priority up to now was on medical stuff. This is really very important that you have decent medical abilities on board. Sensitive hearing. The officer has spent tens of hours on the hydrophone and learned to better differentiate quiet sounds from background noise. The officer can detect enemy ships from 25% greater distance. That's pretty helpful. Radio usage, come on. 33% faster. Come on. Propeller recognition. The officer can crudely estimate the speed and type of targets using the hydrophone. In addition, in manual mode, an exact angle is displayed for the selected direction. And not quite for us, because we don't have this information on the map in our difficulty level. Yeah, so propeller recognition would be nice. Let's see what the other guy has, Mr. Hinrich. What is your specialties? Yeah, he has both of these. Maybe then I would like to have the other guy being good in sensitive hearing. I mean, it could be pretty helpful to have 25% greater distance to detect ships. So, Mr. Strauss, I think I'm going to give you this additional skill. And there was also the crew having an additional specialization point. So, now I can train one crewmate in contributing in faster diving or contributing in being more silent or contributing in having less discipline loss. And whom am I giving this? You see, I already have a few guys, quite a lot of them, specialized. So let's have Mr. Rossmann. That's it. Give it a save. And now I'm going to do what weight loss did recommend. Weight loss, are you still there? So I'm going to try what you said, what you suggested now to get the crew off the boat once completely. So let's be consequent and get them all from the watch groups like that. And then oh shit, the officers. I didn't want to let the officers go. Mr. Grade, Mr. Arles, Mr. Trummer, no, but Mr. Hinrich, Mr. Strauss, and Mr. Schultz. What about you other guys? There is still this guy who is in hospital with tuberculosis. And there are still these prisoners of war. Let's free them, and this will give us reputation and additional money. So which crewmate is still there? Yeah, alright. So now I released all the crewmates. Let's exit once and then reassign them again. Yeah, of course, the stations are empty right now. Now let's get them back on board. Lots of offices. Mr. Vogel, Mr. Ertl. Yeah, let's not name them all, but let's go through one by one. There we are, 20 people. Yeah, and now we have to go through this grind once more and define the 3 shifts. Mr. Vogel, Mr. Ertl, Mr. Reitenbach, Mr. Otto, Mr. Luther, Mr. Swartz, Mr. Seifert, and next group, Mr. Strauss, Mr. Hornickel, a weird name, Mr. Blume, Mr. Helmig, Mr. Bucher, Mr. Sommer, Andy Summers. I don't know. Yeah, today in the car I listened to Andy Summers. Does it ring a bell with anybody? I've been listening to The Police. So Andy Summers was the guitar guy in The Police. Okay, and the next and final group, Mr. Rossmann, Mr. Weber, Mr. Vogel, Mr. Lawrence, Mr. Forstmann, and Mr. Keller. So 2 groups with 7 guys and 1 group with 6 guys. That looks consistent. Okay, still no sailors on the conning tower. That's so weird. That's so weird. No idea why they are not doing it. Yeah, all right. Well, I think I can live with it. Let's give it a save. And now let's take a look at our equipment. We have to restore one scrap metal. Doesn't make too much sense to keep it there, or maybe it does. Maybe it does make sense to keep it. Yeah, discipline is still high. We don't have any fatigue yet. That's good. Did we use any coffee or something? Nope. The stores and the cabinet are all maxed out. So let's go for the stores guy.
Benötigen Sie, Herr Offizier? Sehen Sie sich die Lagerbestände an.
Okay, I'm a bit surprised that I'm maxed out in terms of the med kits. How could that be?
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloin?
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle. Herr Kapitän?
Oh shit.
Herr Kaloin,
So,
wie lauten Ihre Befehle?
oh come on, see, I did send them away
Herr Kaloin. Jawohl.
once, and so we lost all the stuff that they were carrying. Oh man, that's bad. So I accidentally clicked them away from the crew and then clicked them in again, and that meant that they lost the stuff they had with them. So that's not so bad in terms of medkits. We could just buy them back, but it's a problem maybe in terms of this breathing apparatus. That's a pain in the ass now.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloi?
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloin. Herr Kaloin?
Yeah, my mistake, but yeah, maybe the game should be a little bit more robust in terms of that.
Ja? Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloi. Jawohl, Herr Kaloi.
Herr Kaloin?
No, not good. Yeah, but
Benötigen Sie, Herr Offizier? Sehen Sie sich die Lagerbestände an.
T3, T1, T1, T3. T1, T1, T3, 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 T1, T1, give me one more T3. Nah. Okay, one more T1 or one T5. Yeah, I always want to make sure that I do have the sound-seeking torpedoes in the stern tubes. And so in total I got 3 of the sound-seeking torpedoes, and I did put 2 of them into the stern and 1 into the spare stores for the bow torpedoes. Fuel, ammo. I think I didn't fire the flag, I didn't fire the deck gun. Did I? Oh, oops. Alright, so good that I checked that. High explosive. Deck gun ammo. And yes, I also fired a lot of rounds, armor piercing. No, we need that. So here we are. And what about food? And yeah, do we have enough money? That's not an issue. But the availability of the stuff, like for example potassium absorbers, there are no potassium absorbers available now anymore. I cannot fully restock them. Now let's load the U-boat. Takes 5 days.
Ja?
Ja? Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloin? Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloin.
And Mr. Grada, just as well, please pick up the stuff.
Torpedorohr 1 gewartet. Dinge für sich. Ich habe von einem der Jungs gehört, aber ich bin mir nicht sicher, ob es wahr ist. Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloin. Jawohl, Herr Kaloin. Manchmal vermisse ich die Ruhe des Tages. Denke ich daran,
All right.
es ohne euch
Ja,
Ja? Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloin?
Please get
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin.
the breathing apparatus.
Tagwerk ist getan.
Well, we have to get rid of the markings For the next mission, they would just disturb us.
Was benötigen Sie, Herr Offizier? Sehen Sie sich die Lagerbestände an.
Okay, now that's a problem. I'm running out of these breathing apparatus thingies. Yeah, we will see.
Torpedorohr 2 gewartet. Torpedorohr 4 gewartet. Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloin?
Herr Kaloin?
So Mr. Arles is gonna get a breathing apparatus just as well. But no, there are no more of them in the stores here. That's too bad.
Was benötigen Sie, Herr Offizier? Sehen Sie sich die Lagerbestände an.
Okay. So things are getting short in supply late in the war.
Torpedorohr 3 gewartet.
Was benötigen Sie, Herr Offizier? Sehen Sie sich die Lagerbestände an.
Ah, great. I get some more of these. That's good. Alright, so we are now fully re-equipped. Let's give it a save, and now we're gonna check in for the next mission.
Torpedorohr 5 gewartet.
Yeah, alright. Now, Mr. Schmidt, our leading officer.
Eilt Ihnen voraus, Herr Kommandant. Ihre Versenkungszahlen sind beeindruckend.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Dies sind aktuelle Einsatzbefehle BDU, streng geheim.
Arctic Convoys, all right. Okay. Port of Murmansk. Wow. Now the missions are really moving to the north. So that's medium, that's high, but I think I would go for one of them. Low, medium, I don't know. I would like to have the high difficulty, but if the high difficulty means that there is a small number of vessels anticipated in the area, it's all the same. It's all small numbers being anticipated. Hey, come on, let's go for that high difficulty thing again. Foggy weather, yeah, well, if it's that, I can handle it. All right, here we are. Time 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. So, beautiful time to cast off.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloy.
What is this joint battle? The Arctic, yeah, I did. Norwegian campaign, yeah, I ignored that one. So let's get out.
Halbe Fahrt voraus.
Here we are. All right, let me be AFK just for 1 minute. you might guess by the sound that I was getting me a little late night snack. So here we are on the way in the morning. So, yeah, sorry for the munching noise, but I just need something. So maybe you could guess by the noise what it is that I'm snacking. Yeah, the port of Bergen is beautifully modeled, actually. And yeah, probably this is what they call the Tiskebrücken, this historic harbor line dating back to the something like 14th century. The times of the Hanse. The times of Störtebeker, a famous pirate in the Baltic. Not so firm. I'm not so firm in history, but I think it was something like 14th of something century, or later. Yeah, I'm not sure. Anybody of you guys knows when this famous pirate Störtebeker lived? Yeah, it's quite nice. I really like how they do these things. Yeah, okay, it's still basic, but the way they do it. I mean, this is art. I mean, to really get a good scenic impression, you need decent graphics, yeah, but you also need some creativity. And this is what these guys actually have. Yeah, now it's late February, and we are heading out of port again for another mission. It's Norway, it's Bergen, and we are going for the Arctic Convoys missions again. We already have sunk something like 60 tons within the scope of the Arctic missions, Arctic convoy missions.
Torpedorohr 1 gewartet.
Torpedorohr 2, gewartet.
Yeah, if you imagine this beautiful
Torpedorohr 5
harbor line of the Bergen port, this historic harbor line, and yeah, I think I might have mentioned that before, but what I know is that in Norway there was a pretty active resistance against the Nazis, and once during the war there was a large battleship in the port of Bergen, and this resistance, they actually planted a big explosive charge to destroy that one, and they actually did fire it, and well, it did kind of moderate damage to the battleship, but well, they sacrificed their good old harbor, old town, and that was completely destroyed by that charge. Yeah, they did rebuild it years later, so when you nowadays go to Bergen, you have some kind of a reconstruction of that. Say medieval, late medieval harbor line, but it is not original anymore because they sacrificed it, sacrificed it, for the sake of the resistance against the Reich.
Torpedorohr 2 gewartet. Torpedorohr 3 gewartet.
Torpedorohr 5, gewartet.
Yeah, just this thought crossed my mind. Maybe I could sell me eating crisps during playing U-Boat as ASMR.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet. Torpedorohr 1 gewartet.
Torpedorohr 2, gewartet. Torpedorohr 3, gewartet.
Torpedorohr 5 gewartet.
Yeah, this is a bit of a routine, getting back into the patrol area again.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
Torpedorohr 1, gewartet.
Mr. Hinrich.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Why is Mr. Hinrich manning the radio?
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
This is really not what I want them to do. Okay. See, the schedules of the officers were deleted because I accidentally did check them out of the crew roster. Okay. Didn't know that. So, Mr. Schultz. Mr. Grade. Ah. That's no. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so it should work like that. No. Yeah, this is a bit of a chore. But the concept and principle is good. So Mr. Schneider is actually not part of any watch schedule, and the captain is not part of any watch schedule. Mr. Schneider, his main task will be maintenance. And, well, we have these 3 officers of the watch taking turns. And we have these 2 radio men and hydrophone experts, and they also take turns. Well, tougher for them. Okay, should be alright like that. I hope. On we go. Out to the patrol area. Mr. Hinrich.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Mr. Schultz, what's your skills? Okay.
Navigation besetzen.
Torpedorohr 2 gewartet.
Navigation besetzen.
Patrouillengebiet erreicht. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Yeah, let's report that to the headquarters.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Funktelegramm gesendet.
Kurs setzen. Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Shall we do a first hydrophone check? Now let's get a little bit deeper into the area. Into the patrol area. Let's wait until we turn north.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
And now, hydrophone check, please.
50 Meter.
Yeah, sorry guys, I really wonder how bad it actually sounds in the stream, me having the crisps in parallel. So, usually I try to avoid these kind of noises, but, well, sometimes I just have to. Okay, hydrophone check means that, yeah, this is kind of a standard workflow. The crew will bring the boat down to 50 meters, stop the engines, and listen to the hydrophone for 5 minutes. And
25 Meter.
yeah, the point is that underwater sound propagates at enormous speeds and very good. So down here we would be able to hear any moving propeller in an enormous range
40 Meter.
of something like 90 kilometers in diameter. 90 miles even. That's it.
50 Meter.
Torpedorohr 3 gewartet.
Hey guys, I only see the number of watches going up, so don't feel observed,
45 Meter.
don't feel spied on. I don't see your names, I don't know anything, I just see the number going up, the number of watches, and that makes me particularly happy. So thanks guys for joining and welcome. And let me just mention that you're always welcome to leave some message in the chat, even if sometimes the chat might look like it's kind of a private chat of old friends. We are always happy for anybody participating, just putting down where you come from, what your relation to the game is. Are you an old salt, or are you pretty new and looking for hints how to play? Or what you think about the stream, or maybe even you might think about giving me a follow. Yeah, everything's welcome, and don't feel pushed. Just watch and lurk if you're fine with that. Katsura, yeah, you feel personally attacked, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes in the past I had that feeling. I had quite a few people coming into the stream, and then when I said, hey guys, wouldn't you give me a follow or participate in the chat, then suddenly the number of watchers actually dropped down again. And this is why my gut feeling tells me that there is quite a few people who actually do feel pissed off by being addressed like that. Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, Katsura, it's a pleasure to have you in. If I see it right here in the chat, you are in the chat for the first time, so welcome. And yeah, that's a very good question. And the point is that the impact ignition or impact pistol, it's pretty straightforward. So you have to identify your target, and then in this identification card you see the draught of the ship, and when you use the impact torpedo, you have to make sure that the depth that you address the torpedo to is definitely less than the draught of the ship. And you even have to take into account then when you have when you have heavy sea, it might be that the ship might be lifted and the torpedo might be lower. So this is really simulated in the game, so you have to have some margin. So if the ship has a draught of 5 meters and you use the impact pistol, maybe you should go to 3 or 4 meters of depth for the torpedo. But if you really want to create damage with your target, then you should use the magnetic pistol. Actually, for me, I always use the magnetic pistol, because the idea of the magnetic pistol, the principle is that you don't have to have the impact. The idea is, if your target has a draught of 5 meters, then choose the magnetic pistol and put the depth of the torpedo on 550, something like half a meter or maybe even a meter more. You usually do something like half a meter more, and then if everything works out fine, the torpedo will pass underneath the keel of the ship, and due to the magnetic interaction, the pistol will fire, and so the torpedo will go off right underneath the keel, and that might well break the ship's backbone. So this actually does the most damage, and it's relatively reliable, at least later in the war. Early in the war there are quite a lot of dots, but later it's fine, particularly if you have one of your technical officers doing frequent maintenance on the torpedoes. So that was a little speech about that. Yep. Yeah, perfectly fine. Perfect summary. Yeah, that's how I would put it into a nutshell, yeah. So now I just missed to actually check the my hydrophone check, but I think there were no contacts, were they? And yeah, Katsura, thank you very much for the follow. That's so kind of you. Yeah, the technical concepts of the game are pretty great. So these kind of details, they are really modeled. And, well, they even model that effect that when you have heavy sea, you might have that bad luck, unlucky incidents that the ship might be lifted and the torpedo might be going lower. And of course, even for the magnetic, there is some distance when it would not go off anymore. So this is why I'm always a bit careful, and I just take the draught plus 0.5 roughly. Now let's carry on.
Funkmesssignale geordnet. Peilung 215 Grad. Alarm! Flugzeug im Anflug!
Eure Ausbildung.
Peilung
Bleibt ruhig und
215
konzentriert.
Grad.
So now I've didn't do it.
Verstanden, Kommandant.
So the plane is coming from 215 degrees, which would be something like that, right? 215. So let's
Auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
go flank for that direction. Now, our bosun, Mr. Schultz, is about to man the deck gun. The flak. Let's see, let's hope that he's fast enough to actually man it.
Feindliches Flugzeug abgeschossen.
Okay, we got one. But there might be a second one.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. Funkraum besetzen.
Let's report that. There might be a second aircraft, so let's... Okay.
Telegramm gesendet.
Can we figure out where they are? So it seems like that it was only one single airplane. I don't know. What about the wreck? It has sunk.
Kurs setzen.
I think sometimes they stay afloat and sometimes the wrecks sink. No? Looks like it is still there. Just don't have any idea where it is.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Was it there? Yeah. There it is. At 300 degrees.
Kurs setzen.
Be roughly that direction.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Yeah, we can get there and rescue the pilots. Save the pilots. That will give us some positive reputation and some budget in terms of Reichsmark. Okay, now I lost eyes on the wreck. Where is it? Ah, there it is. So I'm doing alright, I think. Getting close
Diese Koordinaten setzen.
to investigate.
Alle Maschinen stopp.
Yeah, there we are. Pretty close by now. Rescue the two pilots. Norman Walker, Thomas Clark. Get on board, please. nothing to loot.
Kurs setzen. Halbe Fahrt voraus.
I'm looking at the time, and yeah, yeah. Although tomorrow I'm gonna work at home, and so I don't. Yeah, usually when I go to the office, the other days, it takes me something like an hour to get there by car. Even if and then I have to get up very early to not get into the rush hour. And that's the days when I can't stream in the evenings. And yeah, on Fridays at least, I am always doing home office, and so tomorrow I can sleep till something like 8:45, and then I will quickly take a shower so that I'm working at 9 o'clock, a few minutes past 9, and that's fine. But yeah, even then, now it's 3 o'clock around here, local time. So 6 hours is the minimum of sleep that I usually need. Yeah, aqua-icing, when do you have to get up tomorrow? I mean, for me it's Fridays, and the other days, at least Monday, Tuesday, I usually get up at, that's the time when I go for the office. I'm getting up at 5:30, and I have to be on the road something between 6 o'clock and 6:30, or the traffic will be terrible. That's why I usually don't stream on Saturday and not on Monday. And yeah, the other days it's kind of, changing. Monday, Tuesday, I'm definitely... Yeah, same for me. Okay, so that's pretty close to what I do. I leave if I leave at 6 o'clock, I'm at work by 7. So I would be curious what the distance is for you. For me, it's a bit more than 50 kilometers from the place where I live to the place where I work. And when I can manage to do it before the rush hour, yeah, okay, probably depends a bit on the, as I'm living in the Frankfurt area, there is a big autobahn, a big highway, and I'm pretty fast on the highway from here where I live, and then I just have to go the one highway, switch to the other highway, and then I'm there. So it's something like 50 kilometers, and I can do it when I am actually before the rush hour, I can do it in something like 50 minutes without really speeding. Yeah, so on the Autobahn you can go with something like 120 kilometers per hour. And that's fine, but, well, when I leave home after 6:30, then things really become ugly. Then it might be that it takes me something like 1 hour, 20 minutes, 1 hour and a half. Yeah, so I have a few days when I get up just like you get up, and well, at least Friday and sometimes also Thursday. Like this week I managed to do home office also on Thursday. This is why I was able to do a late night stream on Wednesday just as well. Yeah. But now I've been talking about time and getting up. Yeah, well, I do have some commitments tomorrow, so although I am doing home office on Friday, I usually have a few meetings, online meetings on Friday morning. So I have to call it a day. Yeah, 40 to 50 minutes depending on the weather, yeah. Yep. Like you said, when you have lots of snow and minus 20 degrees, this is another challenge, yeah. So let me do one last save for tonight. And let me briefly check if there is somebody whom I would like to raid with you. But no, not really. Not really. Yeah, same for you, Aquising. Have a wonderful night. Your evening is maybe still 1 or 2 hours longer than mine. And yeah, it was a pleasure to have you. Katsura, if you are still listening, it was great to have you in, and thanks for joining. Thanks for following. And yeah, I don't know, weight loss, if you're still there. Yeah, yep. German North, I don't know if you're still there. Have a good night. And Vulvolu, you were in again. And not wet, just cold. In the very beginning, I think you also were in this chat shortly. So, all of you guys, and sorry for all the guys that I didn't explicitly mention now, have a good night. And I'm definitely gonna do another late night stream tomorrow, so maybe we will see then. It's always so hard when you have, I mean, for me, something like 9 viewers, that's a lot. Just a small guy, small streamer. And so it's always kind of hard for me to stop a stream when so many people are in, but I have to. Thanks for watching, guys. And hopefully, maybe, see you tomorrow.